Hi there and welcome. It's Roger at SwiftCloud, and I am pleased to show you our new recurring billing system. And it's the very same system that we use internally to work with our clients. And what we use internally is good enough for you guys, and it is now available as a product. So we are looking for actively some clients to roll this out to, and right now you'll get a lot of attention because it's a new product, and so we really want to make sure that it's awesome. So what we're doing can give you predictable income, and what it's for is recurring billing and or membership software. Some of the use cases for it are, of course, selling software, just like what we do, right? We needed it internally. We thought, okay, let's just build this right and build it in such a way that other companies could use it. So what this can do is even sometimes businesses, let's say hairstylist, hair coloring, something like that, or a massage therapist, you can use that to fill some of your less in demand time. Even something like a restaurant, you could create a membership with a restaurant and use that to get people in when you have times in less demand. And let's say they have some sort of, free, you get X number of meals per month or something. I'm just spitballing, but basically you can use it to kind of make your income more predictable if you offer a service that is a consumable or that people tend to continue to need. You can also use it even to spread out services sometimes. Anyway, any kind of recurring billing and membership is what we're allowing for. So that could include things like agency services, pay-per-click or social media, these types of agency services, coaching, membership websites. Could be an offline membership, so something like, let's say, a ninja school or karate school or Pilates or yoga or gym, that kind of thing. Property rental, that is essentially almost like a subscription. You subscribe to rent a property if you're renting an apartment or something like that. Club management, let's say it's a sailing club or a rock climbing club or whatever you're into. Really be anything and basically manage people's dues and then their status and even the turnover in credit card and the payment methods, that kind of thing. Union management, so union dues, that kind of thing. Could even use it for physical shipment of, let's say, a box of the month club, which could be, who knows, wine of the month, for example. So in order to set this up, and I'm going to go through this in a second, just kind of give you the quick overview. My goal today is not to show you every little nook and cranny of the software. It's to give you a good overview, and then what will happen is other things will come up as you go, and you'll just kind of figure it out. But we'll give you the basics. So what you need to do is basically set up your SKUs, right? Your stock keeping units. Everybody, whether you know it or not, has stock keeping units if you have any kind of package, right? So it could be a service package. It could be Pilates monthly. It could be Pilates month by month versus Pilates annual subscription where somebody has to commit to, let's say, a year or something like that. Or it could even be a longer term, right? And you could even do, in some cases, like let's say martial arts studios, they have one-time payment for guaranteed black belt, right? You just pay $3,000 or something, and you are covered all the way through your black belt. The upside is it gets people to lock in, gets them a chunk of money up front, gets them to kind of lock in, and then it gives them a discount for the people that actually use it. Some of those people are going to fall off, and so those types of offers can be actually very profitable because while you hope that people actually get all the way to the end, you want them to. The simple fact is some of the people are just going to move away or they're going to quit on their own reasons or whatever. Nonetheless, what I'll show you in a second is you can create what are called price aliases. So for example, in the case of SwiftCloud, some of our packages are $29 a month. You can create the same package and then offer price aliases, which is $29 a month or $290 a year or a couple $100 for, let's say, 3 years, for example. What you want to do is first you want to create the product and then you add people to that. And the way the system is going to work, well, let's just dive into it. So here in SwiftCloud, here I am on the very home page of SwiftCloud. The very top left, if you click on what looks like 3 dinner plates, that'll bring you to the drive icon. And that's your main cloud drive where all of your assets are stored. And then from here, this is where I can create all sorts of new, I can create electronic signature documents. I can upload spreadsheets of, let's say, contacts or data or something like that. I can create invoices, create web forms. That's typically used for web forms, for lead capture, that kind of thing. But also for contact us and stuff. That way, all of your contact information comes into SwiftCloud. You got one CRM, right? One system of truth for everything that you do if you want to use it for that. You can also create a folder / workroom. It's stored as a slash because a folder is just an unshared workroom. Workroom is just a shared folder. It's like you You share that to somebody, typically a client, right? So that way you have this workspace. Envelopes are used to bundle things together. Anyway, what we're talking about here today is a SKU, a stock keeping unit, slash item that you sell, a package, something like that. So I'm going to give it, let's say, Pilates Packages. And I'm going to call it Pilates Packages, but let's say you're a massage therapist, you could call it anything you want. It's going to think for a second. It's going to dump you into it. Now, we don't know what kind of item it is, so let's call it a subscription, right? It's going to be some sort of service, subscription. Here, I'm going to change that to subscription service. Whoops, and then what we're going to do now, there is a preview link, and what that'll do is it'll preview to the link on the external facing shopping cart. So we have a shopping cart system. We also have a sign up portal. So built into your account, whether you like it or not, is a portal. Well, why do you care? That is super useful because of expired credit cards. So if you are new to the membership business, you will discover that almost 10%, about 8% of your credit cards per month are going to either expire or get declined because of either over limits or security issues, something like that. It's going to happen a lot. Now, if you only have, let's say, 20 clients, who cares? You don't really need software. But let's say that you grow your business to several hundred customers and you have 8% of credit cards going either expiring or getting declined every month, you're going to end up with really this headache that's going to grow. And so what you want is a portal where people can log in, and that's what SwiftCloud is designed from the ground up to do. So we baked it in, built it in into the, let's say, the social network function, is that the other person can log in, update their credit card on file entirely without you. So in addition, they can also give it to you, and I'll show you that in a second. If they wanted to give you an updated credit card and you could store that to their file, that also does work. So in this case, we're going to just create a Pilates example package. Let's call it $15 a month, and then we'll call this month by month. This promo text is optional. And then what we're going to do is create an alias. We're going to call this an alternate price. Save 2 months free. Right? And we'll call it $150 a year, right? So here we can just drag that down. And if we wanted to offer a trial, then we can, right? So in this case, let's say that we have a 3-year price. I'm sorry, this is an alternate price, but let's say 6 months free, 8 months free, right? Something like that, 8 months free. And we'll do a 3-year price. So let's say $450 for, in this case, 3 years. I'll just set it to 3 years, right? So these are Pilates packages, all, again, just example. If I wanted to, I could offer a trial. Let's say that we have, the first month is only $29. And we just set it to 1 month. And then here we put a description. Here we could add a photo or a video. If you add a video, it's going to come from YouTube. We need to update this. We do have video hosting on our side. There's some social benefits to using YouTube because of retargeting and basically ad targeting. The downside is then there's ad targeting by other competitors potentially. So there's pros and cons to using YouTube, and whether it's right for you. We are going to offer our own video hosting, so it's probably live by the time you see this. I'm going to put that into play right away. Here we have images. I'll just stick an image on there, and what we'll do is just go here and just grab some image. We'll grab this girl and put that on there, and it'll just be there. Here I could put more information. That would typically be like a full page about what you do, or let's say terms of the package or something like that. Here's the actual legal terms, right? Legal terms and info about the product. That should go here. Okay, so once I get done, then you also can define what's going to happen once they sign up. Now, this is typically used for membership websites. If you run a karate school and somebody comes in and they hand you their credit card, then none of this is going to matter. You're going to do that through the back end, not through the front end, unless you have a kiosk. If you have a kiosk or a tablet, you could just hand them a tablet and ask them to sign up and then click sign out when they're done. That is a great way to go. And the upside is that way they create their own account. They put in their own email. It's very little time investment for you. You just hand them that, and that way they just put in their credit card and they're off to the races, right? So in that case, you would want to give some thought to what's the experience flow. Well, do you need information from them, right? So in the case of a membership website, let's say you need information, like let's say you need them to sign a waiver, something like that, then you can customize some of these pink box options. So in this case, just for example, you can also customize the autoresponder here if you wanted to. As soon as they check out with this package, and everybody does have a sign up link. So with this there's a couple different ways that you can embed, 9 different ways to sell items in SwiftCloud, and sign up for a membership is one of the 9 ways. Other ways include adding it into an invoice. So if you were, let's say, selling PPC services for agency or let's say coaching, and in the case of agency services, let's say you added that to a total proposal and you have a setup fee, let's say it's $1,000 and then you charge $399 a month or something, you can do that and then have them check out. That's all possible. So nonetheless, this is the actual message that they're going to, get when they sign, if they sign up themselves. If you sign them up through the back end, then obviously this is not going to apply. The blue box is always the notification. So who's going to get notified when you make this sale? If you don't want to get notified, well, you probably do. But let's say it's a karate school, or it's hairstyling, right? Then in that case, you probably do. You probably want to send them to a scheduler, right? So you send them to some sort of scheduler. That's customer. This is all about for them, and the blue box is really just for you. That would also be super helpful in the case of box of the month clubs, that kind of thing. Here you have the actual link to your product. Now in this case, it's actually the store. We are going to change this. You do have automatically built in a sign up link, and we're messing with the portal because we want that to be branded to you and ideally even on your domain. So you'd have like secure.yourkarateschool.com or secure.yourpilatesstudio.com, and they could come and they could log in, put in their credit card, check out, sign up for the package, and then that way they could update things without having to bother you, frankly, update their own credit card. Basically you want to be effective with your time, right? So this allows you to refer to a specific package, right? And so you could even link to a specific package if you wanted to run a sale, or let's say you were doing a joint venture or something like that. You've got options. You've also got additional options. Turning accepting new buyers off, that's typically used if you have people who are members of some package that you don't offer anymore. So internally with SwiftCloud, we do that. Like people have been with us for, let's say, a year, then they've been very patient as we built out certain things. They deserve to basically get grandfathered in on certain packages. And if you choose to do that, then you can just turn off accepting new buyers where nobody new can sign up, but the package still stays open for existing users. Visible in your store, if you wanted to make this hidden or secret, let's say it was a joint venture that was specific to one person, you could do that, right? And that way nobody could see it or discover it in your public-facing store, which is in your portal, right? And visible in the public marketplace. So we do have a public marketplace, and that's typically used for a talent marketplace option. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. If you sell some sort of service, it can help your search engine optimization. So let's say hypothetically that you sell PPC coaching. Go ahead and put it as tagged with PPC. Just give it a tag just like that, and then leave it as visible in the public marketplace. And then what's going to happen is we have a public marketplace for everything related to PPC, and you could be a part of that. And if you choose to, all you have to do is just leave that on. And if you turn that off, then you will not show in the public marketplace. So that's your judgment call. Language of the doc, that would be useful if you wanted to override your account settings, which are down here, right? So if you click edit profile, in this case, my default language is English. I don't want to override that, but if I wanted to, if you were, let's say, in India and selling to the US market, totally could. Same thing with currency, right? So if you happen to be based in Europe, but you're selling to the US account, or if you're vice versa, you get the idea. You've got options. So once you are done, you just want to hit save. By the way, you can save a copy of any assets. You can also preview, and we've got preview as like a subscription link, right? And we're working on that system because we're changing it to branding. We want it to be branded to you, and ideally even on your own URL. So here we've created the product. It did actually save. You saw the notice up here. And in this case, we've got 3 different products. So let me show you let me dig up the URL for the sign up, just a second. Okay, here's the actual package. All I did was basically go to register. We're going to change this to be branded to you. So it's going to have your header. And again, it should have your logo. I've talked about that. But basically what we do is we just have to define the product ID. Now with the various packages, right? So we could, here we can change things. So you can even link to basically whatever product is first in this in the price default. That's what's going to show on this page. But I could change this to year if I wanted to, right? And then I'll be able to sign up So that way you could have a portal or even a kiosk at your facility. You could send this to your clients and they could sign up, pay for their membership, and then once they become a member, they will have automatically a portal account where they can log into your portal and basically manage their account, right? So I'm not going to do this because I'm already logged in this other browser, but that's basically how things work. Okay, so that was all just to create the package. Now what we want to do is we want to actually give that to somebody. And there's a couple different ways to do, as I mentioned. So one is that they could sign up themselves. Two, frequently, they might be in a facility of yours, right? So here I am in a list of contacts. And if I click on this, by the way, if somebody came in, let's say I ran a karate school, I could just add them here, right? So I could just charge, John Doe, put in their phone and their email, and tag them as whatever you want. You could tag them as kids class, right? So let's say it was a karate school, kids class. Just type in a tag and then hit tab. It'll create a tag, and I can put in any notes, right? I just click add contact. Once I do, I'm going to get to a contact detail that looks something like this. Now, once I'm on this contact detail, by the way, I can store notes in here. I can store everything. I can store secret information. I can correspond back and forth with the client. Really, you have a full CRM. So we are very quickly getting back to our CRM roots, and it's sort of built into the platform, whether you like it or not. You don't have to, if you already have some other CRM, you can continue to use that. You don't have to use SwiftCloud. But if you don't have one, then you need a system of truth somewhere. Now, if you only have five clients or 10 clients, who cares? You're going to keep all that in your mind. But as soon as you start to expand or you have multiple people, then you're going to need some centralized CRM system. And that's just, how it goes. So here I just want to collapse this. And what I want to do is go to accounting. So we're focused on the membership. So notice I've got agreements and subscriptions here. And if I wanted to, I'll just go here and I want to create a new billing subscription, right? And it's going to, okay, so this guy, Roger V, is the buyer. So in this case, I want to say, okay, what's the product, right? Well, in this case, I need to refresh it so that it would show my Pilates thing. Basically, all right, so let me get back to, here's an example. All right, so I have one created, and I did that just to save a little time for this demo, but let me get to, so here we have two possible views. So I did this intentionally. So here I'm logged in as Roger V in this browser and SwiftCloud support in this browser, and that's so you can see the different versions. So here we have the Pilates membership, and notice it says the other person's name. So it's going to show you, so you're going to be in, let's say, this version. And in this case, it's money incoming, right? You can tell by that icon. Notice a little arrow coming in. That's incoming money. So in this case, it's outgoing money. Tiny little distinction, but it's an easy way to see everything all at once. And where that's going to matter is because this is the exact same tool you're going to use to manage your own SwiftCloud membership, and it's possible that you'll have both incoming and outgoing, whatever. You get the idea. You probably will most likely have exactly one outgoing to us, and a bunch of, and we hope you have hundreds or thousands of incoming. That may well be the case. But this is also what your clients are going to see. So if they click on that, I'm going to go ahead and click on this in two different browsers. So here we have you as the seller, right? In this case, me in the support, and this guy, Roger V, is the buyer. Notice I've got a couple different buttons here. I've also got a payment method. So I don't have a payment method for this guy stored yet. And that's because I created this manually. So what I could do is create a new payment method. And let's say this guy gives me a card over the phone. I'm just going to go ahead and start typing. And the system is going to think for a second. It's going to create a Visa and stuff like that. So I could create, right now I believe we just have credit cards, but we will in the near future have ACH credit. That's typically used for higher dollar amounts for things like, if you're selling something for $1,500 a month, then we hope you use ACH just because of the fees. If it's something like, $50 a month or something, then just use the credit cards. So here we have the other version, right? So in this case, it says Heather Scott, and that's because I'm in it's associated that as the seller, right? So in this case, it's Heather Scott is the seller, the provider. You do have control over these labels, by the way. So this could be, yoga studio or whatever you want, and this could be the student, right? So in the case of a karate school, this might say student, and this might say teacher, right? Or studio, something like that. So it tells me the amount that is due, right? So I just hooked this up today, August 11th. So I agreed to purchase this, and I don't have any payment method. So here, as the buyer, I have more control. Now, it's possible that I would have, let's say, a payment method that this guy, right, this company does not have yet permission to use. So this gets a little bit tricky, but there's no way around it. In addition, and what I want to do is be able to add a payment method and then, whoops, let me just add a new payment method. And it's the exact same tool, right? So either they could call you over the phone and give you that payment method, or you could, they could type it in themselves and you just direct them to this. And this is basically what they're going to see in the portal, with the exception that they're going to see a version that's branded to you. So they're going to see your logo up here, and we're going to have some controls over this sidebar just to keep them focused, right? We want them to not get lost in all of SwiftCloud. We just want them to have links to that. So we will also have a no sidebar version of some of these pages where they could just link to their page, right? So whatever, all of that type of system is still getting finished up, but the basics work now. So for now, what you could do is just manually manage those clients, right? So here we also have a couple different controls. Notice that the client, the student in this case, because it's a Pilates membership, doesn't have any of these controls for ban, right? Obviously, if you want to ban the person, right, it says, oh, are you totally sure? Because what that's going to do is kick them out. So if you have a membership website, for example, or if you have a members only website portion of your Pilates studio, then this would kick them out instantly, right? And they would not be entitled to a refund in that case. If let's say they caused a fight or something at a karate school, I don't know. I'm just making this up, but in certain membership cases, there may be somebody that violated your terms of use and you need to ban them. This is how you would do that. You could also adjust the paid through date, right? So let's say that they were on vacation and they're like, it's 2 weeks, no problem. I'll add 2 weeks to your account. So you just go down here and you just add their paid through date and you hit proceed. All it's going to do is it's not going to adjust their billing in any fashion, in the sense it's going to adjust their billing paid through date, and therefore will not recurring bill them until in this case would be the 21st, or 25th, right? Because we're going to add 14 days in that case, in that example. So we could also upgrade or downgrade. And so there you have options. Do you want to start the trial period or not, right? So in this case, you probably do not want to restart the trial period. And what's technically going to happen is we're going to cancel their existing and then immediately move them to the new system. So let's say that they called and they say, okay, I want to change to annual, right? So, okay, I'm really happy with this new Pilates studio. I want to change from $100 a month to $1,000 a year. Then great. Okay, do you want them to change today, right? And then if they're halfway through the month, you would refund them technically $50. That would sit there as a credit on their account, and then you'd bill them $950, right? That's technically what would happen. So you'd have to have a different package here. We will soon have a secondary dropdown for the aliases. So here I have the Pilates packages, but you don't have the ability to change to one of those annual plans. That will be right here. And it's probably working by the time this is kind of like, or this is just brand new launch. So we're still kind of polishing up the loose ends, but we want it to be awesome for you. And we could definitely do this manually right now. We just have to do it with a workaround. So if you wanted to change it at the end of the term, it's like, okay, at the end of the month, change me over to the, let's say the annual plan, then there wouldn't be any refund. It just gets to the end of the month, but it stops rebilling the monthly and it just switches them over to the annual. And then in this case, we do not restart the trial period. If you wanted to, let's say you were selling software and somebody was happy, but they were, let's say, moving, who knows what, they didn't get onboarded, right? This happens in our world where people don't get fully set up and you wanted to restart the trial period, then you could do that with this tool, right? So with all of these, you can, of course, also make notes, right? So here I could just add a note and, just show in here, and it's just private to me, internal staff. That would be basically anybody connected to your company. You will be able to message them and email them from within this tool. We're still sorting that out. For now, you can do that from the contact detail. And it's basically the same tool. Basically, we're just taking this contact detail here, and let's say if you wanted to email them and say, hey, we upgraded your account per discussion, something like that. We also will soon have certain automation, and we're working all of that out. Some of that is in the Pilates package. Basically, like when we rebuild them, anytime money changes hands, we will automatically send them a receipt, whether you like it or not. You cannot turn that off because we feel an obligation to all parties. So you're going to get a receipt as somebody who collected the money. You'll also get a Stripe notification, which, by the way, in order for any of this to work, you do need to hook up your method of incoming money, right? So in that case, you just go ahead and click on settings, click on edit profile. At the very bottom, you click on financial, and then this page will come up. And in this case here, you need to have a statement descriptor. That's basically what's going to show on the credit card charge. That you only have to do that once, right? I'm not going to put this in because I don't want that to actually show to any of our clients. But and then you also need to hook up some sort of method of incoming money, right? So all of this is in your incoming money section. You also have outgoing money, which would be typically used for us, right? So it's what account, how are you going to pay us? That needs to be in here. And you do have control over that, who can see that. So just because you add something, let's say hypothetically you bought something from another SwiftCloud subscriber, somebody using our system, and you didn't want us, SwiftCloud, to see that card. We actually can't see it. We encrypt all of this at the database level. That's required for PCI compliance and also just for database best practices. You can then decide who has permission to use that card, right? And I'll cover that, I guess, separately. But basically, just because you add a card into SwiftCloud does not mean that all vendors can see it. Frankly, nobody can see it at all. Nobody can see the entire number, first of all, unless you've given it to them. Now, if I enter that information about you, so in this case, let's say it was on your contact list, and I'm here, and then I add a new, whoops, let me go back to, oh, well, here we go. I've got no saved payment methods for this guy, Roger Vaughn, so I want to click add a payment method. It's going to ask me, okay, great. So in this scenario, what we're going to do is we're going to technically store this card into his account, in this case, Roger Vaughn, who happens to be me, and we're also going to give you, permission to use that card. Sounds a little complicated, but basically that's what's technically happening because that's what they're doing. It's sort of implied if they handed you their credit card for some sort of membership. Now, they can revoke that at any time. So let's say hypothetically that card was lost or stolen. So they come in here and they just want to swap that out. That's going to happen a lot, where basically once you have a payment method, then they could change payment methods because some card is lost or stolen. This is how they would do that. So we haven't covered every little thing, but I think we've given you plenty to chew on. So if you have a membership business or you want to add recurring billing to your system and your business, then we'd love to help you. And I hope this helps. So let us know if you have any questions. We'll update this video. Thanks.